Hello, you're watching Qpvn News. I'm Anh Tuấn and we keep you up to date with the headlines. Vietnam proposes 5 cooperation orientations at APEC Economic Leaders Meeting. ADMM Plus strengthens strategic trust. ASEAN and US advance practical and effective cooperation. Under the theme, Preparing a Future-Ready Asia-Pacific, the second session of the 32nd APEC Economic Leaders Meeting took place on the morning of November the 1st in Gyeongju, the Republic of Korea, with the participation of leaders and heads of delegations from APEC member economies. President Lương Cường led the high-level Vietnamese delegation to the meeting. APEC leaders reaffirmed their determination to build a resilient region ready to face challenges, achieve sustainable economic growth, and deliver benefits to all people. They committed to further advancing regional economic integration, strengthening connectivity across infrastructure, institutions, and people-to-people exchange, promoting trade facilitation, and ensuring resilient supply chains. The meeting reached a consensus that science, technology, and AI must serve humanity and pledged to enhance cooperation in addressing challenges such as energy and food security, natural disasters, and extreme climate events. On his remarks, State President Lương Cường put forward 5 major cooperation orientations for APEC to adapt to the rapid rise of AI and shape a more inclusive, sustainable, and human-centered growth model. He urged APEC to develop a shared strategic vision for innovation, take the lead in governing the digital economy and AI, and build balanced rules that protect both business growth and people's interest. The president also highlighted the need for sustainable infrastructure and a secure digital ecosystem, affirming that trust in cooperation is key to building a dynamic, modern, and prosperous Asia-Pacific for all. At the conclusion of the meeting, APEC leaders adopted the Gyeongju Declaration, reaffirming their strong commitment to pushing up new growth drivers, unlocking APEC's potential and strengths, and building an open, dynamic, resilient, and peaceful Asia-Pacific community for the prosperity of all people and future generations. They also endorsed the APEC Artificial Intelligence Initiative and the APEC Framework on Demographic Change Cooperation. On November the 1st, local time, during his working trip to the Republic of Korea, State President Lương Cường met the mayor of Busan and the president of the Korea Foundation for International Exchange KF. Meeting Mayor of Busan Park Hyung-jun, State President Lương Cường congratulated the city on becoming the second largest economic center of the Republic of Korea and the 5th largest port city in the world. He thanked the city's leadership for supporting the operation of the Vietnam Consulate General in Busan. The state president asked Busan to further expand cooperation with provinces and cities of Vietnam, especially in strong areas like seaports and shipbuilding. He also hoped the Busan authorities would continue to support the Vietnamese community living, studying and working in the city, contributing to Busan's development and the friendly ties between the two countries. Meeting President of the Korea Foundation for International Exchange KF, Kim Gi-hwan, State President Lương Cường acknowledged the foundation's efforts in academic exchange, training, research cooperation, and promoting Vietnam Republic of Korea culture. These efforts have strengthened the human foundation for the comprehensive strategic partnership between the two countries. The state president affirmed that Vietnam stands ready to work with the foundation on initiatives to boost bilateral ties. He asked the foundation to run exchange programs for Vietnamese and Korean officials in new science and technology, education, startups, and innovation. Hold events to promote culture in each country, support research, digitization, and preservation of Vietnamese cultural heritage, and step up people-to-people exchange. Currently, there are around 350,000 Vietnamese people living in the Republic of Korea. The Vietnamese community there is united, quickly adapted, and integrated into the local community, then made significant contribution to the country's socio-economic development. On the afternoon of November the 1st, President Lương Cường met with members of the Vietnamese community in the Republic of Korea. During the meeting with the staff of the Consulate General of Vietnam in Busan, the Vietnamese community in the Republic of Korea, President Lương Cường affirmed that the party and the state always regard overseas Vietnamese as an inseparable part of the great national unity bloc and a valuable resource for the country. President Lương Cường noted with pleasure that Vietnamese in the Republic of Korea have been striving to advance themselves in earning the respect and affection of their Korean friends. On this occasion, President Lương Cường presented Vietnamese language books to the Vietnamese community in the southeastern region of the country, conveying a message on the importance of preserving and promoting the values of the mother tongue and Vietnamese culture, the vital link connecting overseas Vietnamese with their homeland. Coming up next, ADMM Plus strengthens strategic trust. ASEAN and US advance practical and effective cooperation. On November the 1st in Malaysia, the 12th ASEAN Defence Ministers Meeting Plus or ADMM Plus took place under the chair of Minister of Defence of Malaysia, Dato Seri Mohammed Khaled bin Nordin. General Phan Van Giang, Minister of National Defence of Vietnam, led the high-ranking Vietnamese delegation to the event. The meeting brought together defense ministers and senior leaders from ASEAN and 8 partner countries: China, India, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, the Republic of Korea, Russia, and the United States. Marking 50 years of ADMM Plus cooperation, delegates affirmed that the mechanism has become a key platform for dialogue and practical defense collaboration, contributing significantly to peace and stability in the region. In his speech titled 15 Years of ADMM Plus, Achievements and Future Directions, General Phan Van Giang highlighted that the first ADMM Plus was held in Hanoi in 2010, laying the foundation for an effective and results-oriented defense cooperation mechanism widely supported by all members. Over the past 15 years, ADMM Plus has proven its value in managing regional security and contributing significantly to peace and stability in Southeast Asia. It has become a key pillar of defense and security cooperation, expanding from 5 to 7 expert working groups with active participation from all members and growing international interest. This progress demonstrates member states' strong commitment to regional stability and reaffirms ADMM Plus' central role and credibility. General Phan Van Giang stressed open dialogue, respect for international law, and respect for independence, sovereignty, and legitimate interest, calling for stronger ASEAN unity in ASEAN centrality. A cohesive, resilient, and proactive ASEAN is the nucleus of ADMM Plus' success. He urged partners to support a common agenda with ASEAN and to both leverage existing EWGs and explore new areas such as cybersecurity, digital transformation, and governance of artificial intelligence in the military defense sphere to ensure responsible use. ADMM Plus must tighten coordination to address current and emerging challenges and to reinforce strategic trust. Vietnam consistently advocates peaceful settlement of disputes in accordance with international law. On the EC or South China Sea international issue, Vietnam underscored fully and effectively implementing the Declaration of the Conduct of Parties and creating conditions for substantive, effective negotiations on a code of conduct in the EC, consistent with international law, especially 1982 UNCLOS. The Vietnamese defense ministers noted that today's transnational security challenges require information, experience, and resource sharing for effective joint responses. Vietnam is a proactive and responsible member, contributing to a peaceful, stable, and developing region.
The conference reviewed the outcomes of ASEAN Plus, exchanged views on regional and global security issues, emphasized cooperation, dialogue, peace and stability, and adopted a thematic joint statement commemorating ADMM Plus 15th anniversary. A handover ceremony confirmed that the Philippine Department of National Defense will chair ADMM and ADMM Plus in 2026.
On November the 1st in Malaysia, the ASEAN-Japan Defense Ministers' informal meeting took place under the co-chair of Malaysian Defense Minister Dato Seri Mohammed Khaled bin Nordin and Japanese Defense Minister Koizumi Shinjiro. The high-ranking delegation of the Vietnamese Ministry of National Defense, led by its minister, General Phan Van Giang, attended the meeting.
Delegates highly appreciated the extensive and dynamic development of ASEAN-Japan cooperation, becoming a model of comprehensive, substantive and mutually beneficial strategic partnership in the region. Over the past time, ASEAN-Japan defense cooperation has increasingly demonstrated its important role in the regional security structure, with ASEAN playing a central role. Japan has always been an active and responsible member within the ADMM Plus framework. In the coming time, ASEAN-Japan defense cooperation may focus on such fields as humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, improving search and rescue capacity and responding to natural disasters, ensuring security, safety, freedom of navigation and responding to non-traditional security challenges so as to continue promoting defense cooperation between ASEAN and Japan.
On November the 1st in Malaysia, General Phan Van Giang, Minister of National Defense, attended a tea reception between ASEAN defense ministers and the United States Secretary of War.
In recent times, ASEAN-US defense cooperation has been further strengthened, becoming more practical and effective. The US has often proposed holding informal meetings with ASEAN defense ministers and has actively put forward initiatives to enhance cooperation and support capacity building for ASEAN member states. The US reaffirmed its appreciation for ADMM Plus, an important cooperation mechanism of the regional security architecture, and expressed the wish to further foster defense cooperation with ASEAN in an effective and substantive manner for peace. In the time ahead, ASEAN and United States defense ministers will consider strengthening cooperation on capacity building for maritime law enforcement forces to ensure maritime security and safety and effectively combat IUU fishing, as well as enhance capacity and cooperation in responding to the impacts of climate change on maritime security. Also, on the afternoon of November the 1st, General Phan Van Giang met U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. General Phan Van Giang affirmed that Vietnam always regards the United States as an important partner and wishes to cooperate on the basis of equality, mutual benefit and respect for each other's independence, sovereignty, territorial integrity and political system, contributing to peace, stability and common development in the region and the world.
On November the 1st, on the sidelines of the 12th ADMM Plus, General Phan Van Giang, Minister of National Defense, had meetings with the Republic of Korea Defense Minister An Gyo-bak, Indian Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, Japanese Defense Minister Koizumi Shinjiro, Australian Defense Minister Richard Donald Miles, and representatives of the Russian Defense Ministry and Timor-Leste Defense Ministry.
General Phan Van Giang emphasized that over the past 15 years, defense cooperation with the ADMM Plus framework has continued to be promoted and is a pillar in the relationship between member countries. In the coming time, the Vietnamese Ministry of National Defense and the defense ministries of relevant countries agreed to continue effectively implementing existing defense cooperation fields in accordance with signed bilateral documents and agreements, and at the same time study the signing and updating of existing cooperation documents and agreements, ensuring compliance with foreign relations in the new development stage. Regarding the AC or South China Sea internationally, issue The parties agreed on the viewpoint of resolving disputes by peaceful means, respecting diplomatic and legal processes in accordance with international law, including the 1982 UNCLOS.
This is the end of the QPVN News today. Remember to watch our news again at qpvn.vn. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.